welcome to Seller Mobile TV. We have got a very special guest with us here today who is really going to help us visualize our e-commerce platform, our journey, to help us really understand where we need to be spending our energy, where we are kind of in terms of how we move forward, sharing your plan with a team. My name is Hiba Weber, and I am the COO of Seller Mobile. And as many of you know, I started my journey with e-commerce as well. Back in 2010, we had created a small little brand, which grew and grew to doing 8 figures. And when we started off, we actually didn't start off on Amazon. We started off having our own little website, and we were doing Google AdWords and trying to get sales that way until in 2014 we launched into Amazon and really grew our presence for our brand. And there were so many moving parts that it was sometimes sort of complicated to figure out where everything belonged and how it connected and how it funneled into each other to give us sort of a big holistic overview. And so Dano today is really going to show us, kind of talk us through a little bit about that. Dano is the owner is the owner of Def Records. Sorry, why did I say Def Records? Def Device. We just talked about this. And I even wrote it down, Def Device. But you are a musician, and we were talking about that. So it'd be cool if you had your own record company, wouldn't it? So Def Device, he is an Amazon, and former Amazon seller who found a lot of success and now uses his knowledge and experience really to help other, entrepreneurs kind of find their journey and grow their businesses as well. So Dano, you've got some really exciting, just really good information to share with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Hiba. That was an incredible introduction. I didn't know I was the
got
owner
you
of
a
Def
record
Records.
company.
Holy cow!
I think that's a thing.
Thanks for sharing that. Now I know. Yeah, but it was close enough. Yeah, Def is the common part here. Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm excited to share my idea of the visual funnel design, which is something that I'm a visual guy. My background is graphic design, web design, and so I was always looking for, visuals to help me to find my way and to structure things. And I'm much better with visuals than with spreadsheets. And so it was natural to just visualize this whole Ecom journey and the Ecom strategy, which I think does things which we otherwise just miss. It's very difficult to have clarity on all the parts which belong into this Ecom funnel. So I came up with this visual strategy funnel design, which I'm going to present today.
Perfect. Well, since it is visual, I'll have you share your screen with us.
Well, yeah, that would help. I'm glad we're not on a podcast right now.
That is true.
So you see them my screen now, right?
Yep, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so that's the first part of it. So getting crystal clear on the vital part of your e-com business, which is the funnel strategy. So, and this is like a preview of what I believe a e-com funnel should look like, or what are the essential parts of it. And obviously they will vary from company and business to business. And some will be more relevant, and some can be added, and some can be removed. But I think they're all, as they are in this chart, they're all essential to some extent. So yeah, the quick introduction is Dano, the founder of Def Device and now owner of Def Records, who is an e-commerce consultant and marketer from Germany who made Malaysia his second home. I started doing online work in 1996 at modem times, and built multiple online businesses and agencies. I've never been employed in my life, so yeah, I've been entrepreneur by default. And I built my Amazon business in 2014. I guess we entered the space roughly at the same time, and I sold it last year. And since then, I focus on helping other Amazon sellers. So just a bird's eye perspective on strategy. This is another visualization, a model created by Simon Bowen of what is the journey of a business in general, especially now with COVID, with a crisis like that. So when changes happen and when the marketplace changes, what we tend to see is are these three options for a business. Around half of them just stay as they are. 25% will not adapt to changes and close, and 25% will pivot and grow. And those who pivot and grow have managed to implement a strategy or have managed to adapt the strategy to current events and to tweak and to take advantage of what's happening. And the strategy the Ecom funnel which we have is essential part of being able to pivot and grow and to adapt to changes. So why is it visual? As they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So by visualizing our strategy, it's much easier to get the bigger picture. I would say it's even the only way to get the big picture. I mean, there's no way to put this down in words and just have this, in your mind all together. And especially if you want to share it with someone, and if you want to share what actually is your vision, your funnel strategy, it gets even more difficult. So we can understand the customer journey, we can share it with others, we can easily identify missing parts, and we can implement improvements. So we can say, okay, this part of my funnel is missing, and then I can just put a square there and a line and say this has to go here, and it becomes instantly clear what needs to be done. The content of the funnel obviously matters also. So what does this funnel do? What is it there for? And what is the function of it? And I broke it down into these 4 pillars, which I believe are essential to any e-commerce funnel. Number 1, we need traffic to get people to see our offer. That's what Amazon is doing for us if we sell on Amazon, and that's what we have to do on our own if we sell in our shop. We need conversion, so we get people to buy, it goes without saying. We need retention, because we need customers to come back, and it's much cheaper to get repeat customers than keep finding new customers for every single purchase. And we need branding, so we can connect with our customer base and make all these 3 previous pillars much easier. So traffic, conversion, and retention become so much easier if we connect with our customer base, with our fan base on a deeper level than just on price and product features. And these 4 pillars I implemented into this funnel, which I call the Ecom plan. So the idea behind this Ecom plan is a visual funnel design software to map out all the elements and interconnections of a successful Ecom business. And who is it for? First of all, it is obviously for Amazon sellers who want to become more present outside of Amazon, who want to build their brand and their shop outside of Amazon. And there are many good reasons for that, which would be a whole different webinar, I guess. And this is also for people who are not selling on Amazon. It's just simply for businesses who want to engage in e-commerce, who want to be more present online, and who want to improve their online sales. So basically for everyone. And that's the Ecom plan overview. So in this visual plan, I have implemented what I believe are all the essential parts of an Ecom business and what it needs to have in place to do the best and to utilize available sources of traffic, conversion, and retention. So in the centerpiece here, we have our store, right? I mean, that goes without saying. We have the store itself, which sells and results into a purchase. Then on the left side, we have our blog. We have organic traffic from Google. We have an opt-in page. We have the whole social media part here, like Facebook page, Facebook group with posts, with Instagram. On the top part, we have Google Ads. We have paid traffic. We have organic traffic. Same goes for Facebook. We can use Facebook paid traffic and retargeting. And all of our properties need to have a retargeting option or retargeting pixel, so we can advertise to people who have visited our brand page or our store. And then the quiz here, I mean, that's a nice thing to have, to engage people, to create something, to create excitement and interest around the topic if the product allows, this kind of approach. And then on the lower right-hand side, we have our CRM. So that's where all our leads sit, our email addresses, and where we segment our clients according to their journey, if they're just leads, if they're actually customers, or if they're repeat customers. And I believe each of these groups need to be treated separately. So this part is also essential to have an effective ecom business going on, and obviously to generate recurring traffic and to bring them back to our store with a special offer, or to just get them, to have a quiz, and also to social media. So it's all kind of interconnected. And then on the right side, we have our Amazon store. So if we are selling on Amazon, we would like to have an insert along with our product, which would then bring these clients from these Amazon customers into our funnel also, which is not the intention of Amazon. They want to keep them for themselves, but there is a way to also nurture our lead database with customers from Amazon. And then the ranking bot on top here, that's also a feature that would help to generate reviews and rankings. That's a service that we offer, but that's connected to Amazon itself. But of course, a ranking a bot system can also be used on a Facebook page. Yeah, so this is like a bouquet of things, of what is available, of what I think every business owner who's selling online should at least be aware of, that these things exist, that they can be utilized. And then maybe, so for me, if I was the business owner right now, I would just go and check, what do I have in place, and what do I not have in place, and then maybe make a plan, like what would be the highest priority right now. And that's what we do in strategy sessions, to prioritize, to see, okay, so you are here right now, maybe this would be the lowest hanging fruit right now for you to implement. Yeah, let's say retargeting. So many websites don't really effectively use retargeting. So that could be a very low hanging fruit to kind of get people to come back when they already visited your website or your store, or do something useful with your leads in your CRM system to actually have a follow-up campaign that is, responds intelligently to the customer journey. So, of course, every business is different, but this should be like a catalog to show you this is what you can have, this is what you believe you should have eventually, and then you can see what it is you want to focus on next in your business development, in your strategy.
Sure. This is a really nice overview, a very holistic picture of, all the different moving parts of your business. So, just looking at it, it looks like you sort of thought of all the things in kind of how they're interconnected. Tell me more about this quiz. What exactly would that be? Would that be feedback that you're getting from customers?
The quiz is just a fun way to engage someone with a topic. I mean,
Is this for social media?
It's actually what it says, yeah. So it's a quiz. So let's say we're selling silicone spatulas. We could set up a cooking quiz. We can set up a quiz about how things work. So you have questions, you have answers, and then and if you create this in an engaging way, and you get to engage people with the topic itself and actually teach them also along the way, you're sharing information, how things are done, there are right and wrong answers. It's a very simple, it's what it says. It's just a quiz, but it's a very effective way to engage people with your brand, with the topic of your product, with whatever problem you're solving. To have a quiz around that area, it shows authority. And it's a fun way for people to engage, and it's a good reason for them to send an email, like say, hey, we have this quiz for you. And and there's also a prize waiting and stuff like that.
So it's just another way of generating content to drive sales.
It's very helpful to generate these additional touch points.
Sure.
Like in marketing, we say we need all these multiple touch points to get someone from being interested to actually buy. This AIDA model. And the quiz can be one of these touch points, along with all these other elements on this chart. Obviously, an email is a touch point, your brand page is a touch point, social media is a touch point. And and our goal is to create as many of them as possible to, to warm up our audience and to get them to the purchase and also to connect with them.
Sure. So let's say that you are, like a lot of e-commerce sellers are they focus on Amazon because it is 50% of the market share. So it makes sense. It's an easy place to start. So once you've established your presence on Amazon and you want to move forward and want to be part of other marketplaces, you want to be part of just other sales channels. What is a good way to start? So you set up a Shopify store. Okay, you've done that. After that, kind of what of these can you prioritize on this list of what would be the first few things to tackle?
The first few things, let's say I just set up a store. Obviously, the first thing I will need would be traffic. So I need to think of how am I going to generate traffic. And in the beginning, it will be tough to break even because if I just start from scratch and I'm just sending cold traffic to my page, it's going to be difficult to make this profitable. But that's the first thing we need is traffic. As soon as I have traffic, the second thing I would look at would be retargeting. So I want to make the most out of my traffic. If I spend, $1,000 to bring 1,000 people to my store, I don't want these people to just leave and go away, and I want to retarget them. So the second step for me would be retargeting, to make sure that these people who have been, that I create a second touch point with them, and then maybe to bring them into a funnel and to bring them to my social media properties and so forth. And but of course, conversion is also very, very important. So it will be a tough choice if I had to choose between traffic and conversion. I think conversion is actually the first thing to master, to have your store built in a way that it actually converts and it is able to create a sale when you send cold traffic. So these will be the steps, and then we can build everything else around that. So obviously only after you are selling, then it makes sense to capture leads of your customers, and that's when the CRM becomes important and so forth.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So I've broken this down a bit to simply illustrate how these four pillars, how these four components are built into this funnel. So traffic, as we mentioned earlier, would be obviously the first thing we need to do after our store is built out and converting. And traffic sources here would be our brand page, would be our social media presence, Instagram, Google ads, organic Google traffic, retargeting traffic, Facebook ads. All this could be traffic sources, along with any kind of leads that we have in our CRM. So these would be the traffic parts of the funnel. Then we have the conversion parts. I mean, conversion would be another topic for a webinar on itself, or even several. But conversion happens in our store, in our app upsell, and in our cart. So that's how we build our store, to make it appealing to implement all these features like social proof, call to action, testimonial, and FAQs, and attractive listings, images, and all that. So that all goes into the conversion part of this funnel. But here it's represented by the store and the upsell itself. Then we have the retention parts, which is mostly retargeting of people who visited our store, retargeting people who visited our website. And there's a technology, I mean, most people are familiar with it, but it's surprising how often this part is missing on these online properties, that people are not retargeting visitors of their website. And then obviously you have the CRM part. So that's where retargeting happens. That's where we collect our existing customers and we nurture them with email sequences, with SMS, and or even with messages from messenger bots, and keep them engaged and bring them back to our store with special offers. Then we have branding, and branding also happens in fun things like a quiz where we connect, with our audience. Obviously, the CRM is a huge area to simply bring across the story of the brand, to talk one-on-one and to establish the brand story with our clients. Goes without saying that our brand page, our about page, is very suitable to build branding, to build trust, to build connection, and social media. So that's another universe of what we can do on social media, to be transparent, to be a real person and all that. But this is where it's happening in the funnel. So we have the social media part, the blog part, and the CRM part. Yeah, and that's how it all comes together. So this is like the breakdown of this funnel and what are the different parts of it. Yeah. Any questions at this stage?
So when you create this, when you sit down with a company and you create this, what have been a few really sort of, what kind of impact has that had on a company? Can you give examples of what they've been able to identify, just sort of anecdotally?
So far it always been like a big aha moment for them, So because none of the clients I've worked with had something like that in place. Right. They all everyone has heard of all these things, and everyone kind of thinks he's doing that and doing this. Right. But to have this like in one go, and then to show them, but yeah, at the moment you have this and this and this, but you don't have, for example, lead nurturing, and you don't have an insert with your Amazon products, or your social media is kind of completely flat. All these things become like very obvious for them, and it creates a huge aha moment. And of course, every business is different, and some of them are just on Amazon, and just everything. All elements here need to be implemented. But the biggest takeaway mostly is to see, we need this. This is the part that's missing, and now it's clear to me, and now we will focus on building this.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that this is really kind of a great way to visualize all the different components and all the different pieces of your business.
Yeah, and there's even a next level to this. So we could actually plug in the real numbers of traffic going on in this system. So I'm using Funnelytics here, and there is actually a next level. Other than just being visual and having this visual map, you could actually how many people are coming from this property to this property, from the store to the from social media, website. All these could be actually connected with real numbers, and also with the values per customer. So you can even take this to the next level, where you make it like really numbers driven and more than just a visual representation.
Because I think that's what I was going to say. This is a great start, but I think adding to say which stream is, doing the best, and then how can you focus on the other pieces? Because just visually looking at it, if you've got, let's say, most of these things in place, you may not be able to necessarily pinpoint or identify what areas I want to work on, right? You can say, my social media is not very good, but to be able to say, well, this is how much, traffic it's generated, or how much revenue it's generating, as opposed to, do I have this or not?
Yeah, that's the next level, and that's obviously where you really can narrow down how to improve and how to tweak things to get them from running at a loss to being profitable.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah, that's the Ecom plan.
Yeah. So let's talk about, if someone is interested in doing something like this, or creating this for themselves, what's sort of the best way for them to do it?
Obviously everything we can do on our own. Sure. So one thing is you could find your own way to do this and to visualize this. You can use available software. or you can talk to us and have a chat and see where you are in your ecom strategy, and we can also help you do that. And I actually set up a funnel, an ecom survey. So I think that would be a fun part to start. If you go to devdevice.com/ecom survey, I kind of implemented all these things in form of a quiz, so to say. So you can go and check, do you have, it will simply ask you, do you have this, do you have that? And at the end of the day, you will have an overview of, all the boxes you have ticked and those who are unchecked. So that's a good starting point for me to get like the first impression of what do I have in place and what's missing, and then we can take it from there. We can hop on a call and talk about it, and we can also help you to develop your own strategy.
Perfect. That's wonderful. I think that that's a really great, it's a really simple step to take just to help you kind of understand as a seller what you're doing already or what you're not doing.
Yeah.
And then when they come to Def Device, you or your team, do you then help them optimize certain funnels that aren't doing well, or is this just information that they need to then, seek out other resources?
We do help. Yeah, we do offer several services. The first one is a strategy session where we kind of get crystal clear on what's going on, what needs to be done. And then we have several levels of agency partnering programs where you can get us on board, and we will, over several months, we can then implement whatever needs to be done. And we can implement most of these elements for the client. And if we don't have the capacity, we can bring other service providers on board and so forth. So we can, in short, we can help to make things happen. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I'll go ahead and make sure that this that the URL is listed on the YouTube channel, and folks can reach you at dano@defdevice.com, not Def Records, because they will not get a reply. And they can reach out to you, and you can set up that that quick call with them to help them identify where they are and where they want to go. And I think this is really great information. Was there anything else you want to leave us with, Dano?
I think that's all for today. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more things with you, Hiba, and following your journey. I think it's amazing what you have put together so far. And let's see where we go from here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It was very nice talking to you.
Same here, Hiba. All the best.